Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
From the beautiful city of Abuja, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this week's edition of the transportation segment of Money Radio on Leadership TV. Abuja is a nice, is enjoying a nice weather today, and that is good. I hope you're having great weather wherever you are, be it Nigeria or elsewhere in the world. Welcome. The topic we are discussing today is postponement of resumption date of Abuja-Kaduna rail service. Matters arising. Postponement of the resumption date of the rail service on Abuja-Kaduna railway. What are the matters arising? In the studio with me is AGK. AGK is well informed when it comes to transportation matters in Nigeria. I can assure you are in good company whenever he's in the studio. And I'm your host, Case Hammond. AGK, actually, we have matters arising. This week, Monday, and of course, you were in the studio last Friday, and we discussed that this Monday is just about 5 days ago that we will have the train service running again. You expressed some skepticism. You expressed reservation when it came to that issue. And somehow you have proven to be somewhat like a prophet. So what are the issues? Why was the resumption date postponed? And what are the new promises by the federal government?
Yeah. Thanks for having me, and it's a good day. Like I said last time, I knew that if you prepare to fail, if you don't prepare properly, you will definitely fail. That means if you are not fully prepared. What we did last time, or the announcement was that we were preparing to fail, and it just came to pass. I said it. There was no way you could do anything behind the scene. From what we were seeing, they were not ready to start. The tracks have been fixed, the coaches have been repaired. What about the major issues concerning the operations? We had a situation which was a bomb blast.
Yes.
What caused it? What are the results of the bomb blast? After the bomb blast, what are the issues? There were some demands made by the terrorists who kidnapped about 62 people now remaining there.
Still, do we have a definite number now?
Of course, there's a video that one of the kidnapped victims said there are 62 in the bush.
Is it that pregnant woman who was released on compassion?
This is one of the guys in the video. The guy is still with
Okay.
them.
Okay.
One of the videos the terrorists released.
Okay.
The guy said, help us. 62 of us are here. So we have an accurate figure now, 62, at least from them.
And there is an ultimatum.
Now these are the issues. There was a demand from them when this thing happened. And the demand is not known to us, but it's known to the government. Because the terrorists insisted that the government knows their demand. And until the government does their demand, these people will be kept with them. Then along the line, the problem we're having now is that you quickly repaired and although I don't want to blame the Nigerian Railway Corporation.
It's their job.
It's their job. It's their job. We need to understand it. It's a security issue now. What have the government done since then? What have the security agencies done since then to ensure that these guys are released? I was shouting here last week that if you start this operation, we'll forget them. We'll forget the victims, just like we forgot Chibok girls.
Yes. You mentioned that. I remember.
And that's exactly what would have happened if not that the families of those kidnapped came out and threatened to stop the operation or disrupt the operation of that rail. And the threat was so much that the pressure came upon the NRC and they decided to cancel the resumption date. And they said indefinitely, which means, as we speak now, we don't know when the service will be resumed. But the fact of the land is that these people are staying with the terrorists. The terrorists said, until you release our people, which we are getting to hear about now, that some of the families are held captive, or government took some of the families of the terrorists. You understand? When you're looking for them, they couldn't find them. They took their family members. You understand? That's the problem with Nigeria always. When somebody commits a sin, instead of catching the person, you look for the brother or the mother or the family member.
Come again, please. You are saying the federal government took families
of
of.
the terrorist members. Okay, let me explain it better.
Please explain.
The video that was released recently by the terrorists,
Yes.
some of those people captured, some of those victims that were kidnapped from the train
Yes.
were telling the government or Nigerians in the video what they are demanding, what the terrorists are demanding. One of them is that they mentioned that the government took their children, that's the terrorist people now,
Yes.
their children, wives, family members, father, mother. When they were looking for them, they couldn't get them. They took family members and held them in detention. You understand the picture now?
So we mean
So
the
when
federal
I'm
government
looking-
is in one-on-one contact with these people.
They're not the family, they know them. They know them. Well, no, the simple thing is what has been happening in Nigeria. If a policeman comes to arrest somebody now and the person is not around, they will carry the brother,
That is true. That is
carry
true.
the sister, that's the simple thing.
Okay.
Unfortunately for us or for the government or for us now in general, these guys have guns. To carry their family members, they go out and kidnap people and make demand. But that is where we find ourselves now. And they say until you release them, these victims will be with them. And they will not release them. Now,
Is that just wait a moment, please? Is that a pretext on which they kidnap those people? That okay? Let me explain.
Yeah.
What I'm understanding from you. These people are criminals. Have an issue.
Yeah.
They are criminals.
terrorists, yeah.
They are terrorists. The federal government wanted to arrest them based on the fact that they are terrorists, and they did not find them. As a result of that, the federal government took family members of theirs.
Yes.
And so, to secure the release of these family members, they kidnapped these train riders.
Yes.
That is the picture.
That is the picture.
And the terrorists are now demanding the release of their family members. That is
In
the picture.
exchange
In exchange for.
the kidnapped train riders. Now, this is just one of the demands that we get to know. You know, when this thing happened, we didn't understand. Because the first video they released, they said the federal government knows their demand. Do our demand, we'll release them. We didn't know. We didn't get to know. But as videos keep coming out of the camp of these terrorists, the people kidnapped, you know, the way they operate is that they put camera in your front and they tell you what they want you to tell the world. And you make demand, please come and rescue us. We are here. And they are demanding for this. So that is how we are getting to hear these things now. They released a video. There is a problem. There is a time bomb. They released a video last week. They say 1 week, after 1 week, if you don't meet their demand, they'll start killing them. The train riders. Now they released another one Monday or thereabout. I think about Monday or Tuesday. They say 5 days. After 5 days, if you don't meet our demand, they keep saying if you don't meet our demand, we'll start killing them. That means we have a problem. We are not talking about resumption again. We are facing a situation where we may, if care is not taken, the 62 of them may die. That's a dicey situation. And you're talking about resumption. I said it, they were not prepared. Now, what are the issues? What were you supposed to do before you resume? Simple. It's either you pursue the criminals and catch them and keep them in detention or prosecute them or do anything until you get judgment.
Yes.
Or you negotiate and release these guys that were kidnapped and ensure that there is peace, understanding between you and the terrorist group, that they will not attack the train again. Let me tell you something. Nigeria we are living in denial. We want to imitate America. that we don't negotiate with terrorists.
And America does negotiate with terrorists at times.
And in all over the world,
Yeah.
there are organizations, there are understanding between you and between big president, even a president, negotiate with terrorists off record,
Yes.
and they have an understanding. You will see them passing, and the terrorists will never attack them there. In Borno, I'm going to bring out a sensitive issue now. The Boko Haram fight going on in Borno. I have a privileged information that there are some groups of the terrorist group that have an understanding with them, with some group of our security agencies, that when they are coming, we don't attack them. Our security agencies will sight them and they will leave them. And they will go their way, the other ones will go their way. There is always this understanding in every part of the war. We are fighting a war, whether we are fighting a physical war or a asymmetric or anything, it's a war. And we have to apply everything. Now, we have 62 persons in their camp. We're applying to resume. What if we resume? I was even talking about, have they fixed the gadgets to monitor the tracks? Are they ready security-wise and all that? Now we are facing a situation where we are not even sure that the people they kidnapped will release alive. So that is where we find ourselves. And I seriously hope that something is being done. The last, after the video came out on Monday, there was an emergency meeting at the Ministry of Transportation where the service chiefs came. Me, all those guys, big guys, and they were discussing. And I felt bad about it because we're talking about 60 days now, and you're just talking about meeting emergency just because they released the video. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. I think more should be done on that. And until we are sure and we are ready for this, train resumption should be the last thing in our mind.
We have an issue on our hands. And we don't want to forget the fact that this train or this service is supposed to be earning money because money that was used to build the tracks and to buy the coaches actually are borrowed. And it's from train service that the NRC is making money to pay back the loan to China or whichever. So this is actually like a burden on the federal government, paying back the loan, and you are not making money out of the service you used the loan to build. It is a problem. Let's take a short break. We'll come back. We want to discuss the way forward, and you are going to push that way forward for us. Stay tuned, listeners.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back, viewers. You're still on to Money Radio. And this is the transportation segment of the program. In the studio is still AGK, our in-house analyst, and I'm your host, Case Hammond. Train service on the Abuja-Kaduna railway was supposed to resume on Monday. It did not resume. We have been discussing the issues, and AGK, you had said that it was an ill-advised move to start train service, whereas some of the victims of the train attack are still
with the terrorists.
are still with the terrorists, and they are facing imminent death, and that is serious.
Yeah. And before the break, we were talking about issue of loan that was obtained and the repayment strategy. Let me make it clear that no train service can repay the money used to build it.
That is true.
This our one cannot even do it in the next 50 years, except you're doing haulage, carrying loads, the layman's language. The only way you realize money from train service is when you carry load, carry oil, carry irons, all these big things. In terms of passenger service, There is no money there. The money you make from them is just for you to service the train. So the government that engages any country on loan for the building of the train service knows that they will pay back the loan from government source, not from the train service. Now, having said that, we also understand that some of the money coming from this is also being used. The Minister of Transport made sure that some part of the money from the service are being used to repay the loans. The
Okay.
repaying is gradual. We are just trying to say that it's not big enough to handle it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the obstruction for 2 months now, and we don't know for how long. And the Abuja-Kaduna line is the most viable among the train services in Nigeria.
Yes.
After the Abuja-Kaduna, you talk about the
Lagos Ibadan.
Warri-Itakpe.
Okay, worry about
The Lagos Ibadan is not even as lucrative as Warri-Itakpe because Warri-Itakpe carries load.
Okay.
So they make more money from that than Lagos Ibadan. Lagos Ibadan is also a passenger train where you pay 1,000, 2,000 to go and come. How much is it?
No, I paid 4,000. Although it was a VIP coach, I paid
How
4,000
many
to.
how many of you will enjoy VIP? That's the problem. How many coaches are there? How many people will pay?
Ah, but that ride was sweet.
No, it's sweet. It's
Yeah.
actually a good development.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that these guys decided to go and attack it and disrupt the operation. It's actually one of the best things that I would have taken from this government. And it's unfortunate now we can't even rely on that. We can't even count on it again. And we don't even know what will happen in the future because even the Kaduna Kano one that was ongoing since campaign came up, nobody is talking about it again. So we are not even sure we are going to have that one ready. So the way forward on this particular issue that we're talking about today is to government must ensure that they get these guys released. The 62 persons, not even you can't miss one of them. If you cannot catch the terrorists and deal with them and rescue these guys, negotiate with them. There is no crime in negotiating for life. The life of one person is worth more than anything you can think about. And we are not even talking about arresting, you are not with the criminals, you arrested their family members. Releasing their family members, if that is their demand, to me is not a big deal. Assuming you have the criminals in your camp and they are saying release the criminals to the world. These are family members. Release them. Get your passengers back. You can now look for a way to go and hit them back later. And you work on that. But you keeping them and you coming to make price, that's very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. And I hope it doesn't get to a point where they start killing them. It will be very terrible for us. And it's going to spread doom for the service. Because as soon as they release the video that they've started killing them,
That service is.
would never resume.
Yes. Yes.
It will never resume. And it's going to be bad. It's going to be a waste.
So sad.
So sad. We're in a dicey situation. We just hope it doesn't get to that.
And I must say, this real service was becoming the in thing for Nigeria's infrastructural development.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about roads, but roads are not the most viable when it comes to just as you mentioned, the transportation of goods, which train services usually or mainly get their profit from. The fact that all of these things are not these incentives really, and as a result of that, it's a bad thing for the government. So, be that as it may, what's your projection just before we go?
Projection.
Yes, are we likely to see anything?
I can't speak for the security. I don't know what they're planning. But I hope they negotiate. Because I know they cannot arrest those guys. They are not willing. They have the ability, but they are not willing to do that. So I hope they negotiate and get these guys released.
GK, for the first time, I see that you look downcast. Yes.
We're talking about lives.
Yeah.
We're talking about lives. And I know how these guys operate. Before you know, they will bring them in live camera and start cutting their life.
Yes. That would be so sad.
It's not a good plan at all.
Let's hope that things will get better. That's how we want to call it a day on today's edition of Money Radio. You have been on to the transportation segment of the program, and in the studio has been with me AGK. Thanks for being here with us today and for keeping us updated on the issues surrounding the Abuja-Kaduna rail service.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to our producers also, but our biggest thanks go to you who follow us loyally on this program. Come next week, Monday, we come out with a fresh edition of the program. I urge you to stay tuned. Until then, have a great weekend. God bless you.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.